Just before we let you go, Antonis,
Yes.
what is your gut feeling? Do you think Panathinaikos will get past Rangers?
It's 50-50. Absolutely 50-50. Yeah. I don't like to bet and to think or to judge or to predict anything, especially in the summer, because in the summer is a totally different thing for every club, for every player, for everyone. But this is something that I can have even a gut. It's a 50-50 for me.
Yeah. Antonis, thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. And if you make it over to Glasgow for the leg, we'll maybe catch up for a beer or what have you.
That goes for you too when you come to Athens.
Thanks, Antonis. Thank you to Antonis and Andy. They'll join me a little bit later on. Antonis saying it's 50-50, Keith, but when Rangers could have had Bran or Servette, this is the one team they didn't want.
Well, we said that. I liked that interview. Very interesting, informative. My two big takeaways. It's all very well talking about how hot it's going to be in Athens. How are the Greeks going to adapt to Glasgow when it's 11 degrees in the middle of July and they're having to wear snoods and hats and gloves? The second one was, I must compliment Andy on his Greek accent. I thought that was terrific. I didn't know if I was listening to Andy Newport or Joey Barton there. So, but no, I totally agree. I think this one's really difficult to call, and I do actually, without being facetious about it, I do think the conditions in Athens will add into it. Rangers are going to have to be in supremely fit physical condition for that, and again, they don't have a lot of time to get there.
They obviously weren't the only ones to discover the European fate today. Rangers, obviously, Panathinaikos, Hibs were drawn against FC Midtjylland in the Europa League qualifying rounds. That's a tough one for them. Dundee United drawn against Una Strassen from Luxembourg. Mick, can you give us a lowdown on them?
Yeah, they like to play inverted fullbacks. They've got a false nine. Yeah, that's a buy for Dundee United. They'll be fine. That's I don't want to add to a kind of summer list of horrendously embarrassing European results we've had through the years to Maltese teams and Liechtenstein teams and all. We don't need any. Did Vaduz from Luxembourg not put out one of their teams in the past as well?
Aye.
We don't need any silliness from Dundee United. Hibs have got a tough one, haven't they? I mean, Mitchell, we've known through the years, play against various Scottish teams. They're always pretty tough to beat. So I think that's a difficult tie. Panathinaikos. Listen, I mean, we've got to separate the name and the current team. The current side, I don't think are a particularly fantastic Panathinaikos team, but a bit kind of battle scarred from the Greek game against Scotland a few weeks ago, I think, as well. That hasn't helped our perceptions. But I think it's a tough looking tie. I think this competition is too early for Russell Martin and Rangers. I see actual parallels to when Celtic under Ange Postecoglou. They actually got Midtjylland, and it was too early for them. And we mentioned centre halves. Celtic had no centre halves that night either, and they battled through and eventually went out. And I think this, if Rangers can get through this tie, it will be a major boost to Russell Martin early in his career as Rangers head coach. I just think it might be too soon for him this campaign.
It's impossible to know, though, isn't it, Mick? Because you've got no idea what Rangers are going to look like.
Yeah, but it's going to be the first competitive game for a lot of players, isn't it? That are coming in as well. It just looks like it might be too soon. I don't think he should be judged on these ties at this point in time. I just think they're horrendous how early they come round these matches as well. But I just think it would be hard to judge them on these ones. It just looks like a big ask. Although I'm pleased to hear that weather report. As someone who's going to Greece very shortly, that sounds absolutely brilliant.
I'm not sure you've got the colouring for that, Mick.
You just said it's going to be hell on earth. It sounds like absolute heaven to me. I'll get the Tractor 50 and the Speedos on for that. It's tremendous.
There's something that nobody needs at this time of night. By the way, I have to tell you guys, I've had a text message for Andy Newport that I would read out, but I think we'd be taken down off all platforms, so I won't bother.
It's worth
mentioning. You like the Joey Barton thing.
It's worth mentioning as well. John says the Rangers get parachuted into the Europa if Panathinaikos beat them. I think I'm right in saying
no.
No,
not the group stages.
Aye.
If they go at this point, they got the qualifiers for the Europa, and then they go to the qualifiers for the conference. So and then they could go out altogether. So at this point in time, until they win a tie, they could theoretically get put out of 3 competitions, which is the nightmare scenario. So they need to try and nudge yourself along to get to the group stages. But I think Europa should be the goal. I don't think the Champions League should be the target this season. It'd be a nice financial boost, but I don't think they'll be ready for it. That kind of challenge at this point in time. I think the Europa League is a more realistic kind of level, and that should be the target, really.
As we said, Mick, the other night, all I'm looking for from all the Scottish teams is just fill up as many boxes as we can. Get as many teams into the group competitions. It's just beneficial for the Scottish game in general.
Yeah.
It adds to the finances coming in. That's where all the money is. We can't get it out of our domestic TV deal. So the more teams that we can filter through into group competitions, no matter, whether it's the top tier, the second tier, or the third tier of European football, the more the merrier, the better it's going to be for Scottish football and its general financial health and well-being.
Yeah, our wee coefficient's hiding a bit at the moment. That's been done. I took a bit of a batter in recent years. We need to try and coax it back out a wee bit. The only way to do it is to win games in Europe, unfortunately.